Howdy everybody, and welcome back to the Chip and Dale tutorial. So today I believe we will jump into the jump state. So let's get cracking. Alright, so now that we're get here, let's add a new user event. And for the jump state, we need to use number 4. So a lot of this code is going to be kind of copy-paste, but some of it will be not, so copy and paste. First up, let's set up our state changing region. Pound region states. Pound end region. And pound region yes, collisions and movement, pound end region, and last but not least, let me collapse the code over here, pound region animation, pound end region. Let's start with the animation since it's the simplest. If x underscore speed underscore does not equal 0, then underscore x scale is equal to the sign of x underscore speed underscore. So that flips us around when we're going left or right. And if on underscore ground, then manual underscore sprite underscore change underscore is equal to true, because when we land our character, we want to very quickly put us into a sort of duck state where we will, where our character will appear to have a contact stall for a frame or two when they hit the ground. And to do that, we go sprite underscore index is equal to asset underscore get underscore index, sprite underscore plus character plus underscore duck. Alright, so, and last but not least, animation underscore timer underscore plus plus. You may remember we set up that variable a while back, and we're going to use it in this state here. So let's go back to our collisions and our movement. And let's see. Again, a lot of this stuff is going to be copy-paste from here. So just copy-paste from the user event our walking moving through the air, and let's see, what else do we got? We need to add gravity, and we're going to need to use our speed fractions. All right. And let's see if there's any more custom code over here. No, not yet. There's our old friend. I should do a recording like beforehand and wait for that to actually happen, but I always forget it happens every single time, even though it happens every single time. So copy our speed. And move that over there. Kind of redundant, but I'll throw that in there just in case. Last but not least, okay, here's the actual custom code in this case. So since we are jumping around, we need to check and see if our character has landed. So perform a secondary ground check in the jump state so we know if we landed this frame. And this is so that if we need to know that we landed immediately in this frame, we can then start doing the animation timer and swap our character over to the duck sprite. So we declare a couple of variables here, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. And I didn't put it in here because we didn't need it yet, but we need it over here now. Over in our begin step, we need this code as well. So we'll add some code over here as well. All right. Okay, so we have P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. What are they all at? Tile map underscore get at pixel, tile map B box left, B box bottom. So that's your bottom left corner. Your bottom left corner +1. So what is the tile that we're on, and what is the tile that's directly underneath us? Again, what's on our right and what's directly underneath us on the right. This is for ledge detection. At P5, collision line, B box left, B box bottom +1, B box right, B box bottom +1. This is for platform, no, that's for solid checks. Note you check at the actual B box bottom as there are no platform objects. So then we have a little bit of a complicated string of if statements here. If our point 1 is equal to 0, so each one of these will get us a 0. If we come back over to our tile sets, we open up our collision tiles. You notice that we have our 0, 1, 2, 3. So if a 0 is detected, that means there's empty space. If a 1 is detected, that means we are on a solid. If a 2 is detected, we are on a platform, and we can do a jump through, or we can jump up through, and other things. And 3 is we are on a solid, but it is a spiny solid, so we get hurt. And we'll come back to that one later. So if on the left there is an empty space where we're at, and underscore P2 is greater than or equal to 1. So if we are standing on a solid and there is nothing we're not inside of a solid, then, or if P3 is a solid, if we are not inside of a solid and there is solid underneath us, or then it has to be this one and this one, or this one and this one, or underscore P5 is equal to, does not equal no one. So if we're on top of a box or something, a solid object, and our y underscore speed underscore is equal to 0, and y underscore speed underscore is equal to 0. All these things together, if they are true, then on underscore ground underscore will be true. Otherwise, it will be false. And we have the same thing going on here. On underscore ground, P1, P2, etc., etc. Okay, so that's our ground check to make sure that we've actually landed on the ground. And that should be all of our collisions and movements. Last but not least, we need to change our state. So this is going to be somewhat involved here. Let me make sure. Yeah. So clean. Okay. So last but not least, we want to swap back to the move state. And there'll be a lot more of these later on as we keep adding more states. If on ground has been detected, either at the begin step or at the end of our collisions and movements here, and if on ground is detected, then that means that we must have just landed or we are currently in the landing animation. So we've started a timer for a couple frames of us landing, then return to the normal move state, but end early if input is detected, because you can interrupt the animation by telling your player to move. So if animation underscore timer underscore is equal to 1, so after 1 frame, and this is again me going through the game and frame by frame watching the animations, and this is what I came up with that matched what they did. So if we are on the first frame of our duck animation, then play a landing sound. Set our X speed and Y speed to 0, because when we land, we lose all momentum. Then, if our animation underscore timer is greater than or equal to 7, so if we're at 7, then the state underscore is equal to player states.move. So we swap back over to our move state. Our sprite underscore index is equal to our sprite underscore state underscore direction underscore facing underscore. Our animation underscore timer is equal to 0, so return this back to 0. Our image underscore index is returned back to 0. And we execute the move state. And then make sure that we exit so we don't end up trying to do all of this code as well. Alright, so, and these are the normal animation timer things. But if the X input underscore does not equal 0, so if the player tries to move while we are in this animation state, then we will immediately go to the move state and keep running. And if jump input, so this is very important here. So check this here so we can jump again during the couple of landing frames, because you can jump again during the landing frames. So you just don't switch back into the player state. You just add back in the jump speed. So y underscore speed underscore plus equal jump underscore speed. Object underscore input dot alarm 1 is equal to -1. So you remember back in our object input, we set up all these alarms here so that we could have so that we can have our action buffers. So we make sure that we remember to set our action buffer. We reset our action buffer. And you could probably like put this inside of a script or something if you really feel like being fancy. So then you just say like reset underscore action underscore buffers, something like that, and then have it reset all the action buffers, or just reset jump action buffer or whatever. Yeah, and that just kind of obfuscates the code to make it more readable. Then we set our animation timer back to 0 and set our on ground back to false. Make sure you set that back to false, otherwise it will still be true and it will mess up all your collisions and movements. All right, let's see. So we got our ability to change into our move state. Let's go back to our move state. And we want to add in the ability to go into the jump state in the first place. Oops. Accidentally hit the Windows key instead of Control for copy paste. Jump state. So if our jump underscore input and on underscore ground, though you shouldn't be able to be in the move state unless you're on the ground. Y speed plus equal jump underscore speed. On underscore ground underscore equals false. Make sure you set that to false. State underscore is equal to player states dot jump. Object underscore input dot alarm. Again, reset our action buffer. Set our image speed back to 0. Our image index back to 0. And then set our event user to jump. So make sure that we go and do our jump event, and make sure we exit so we don't end up executing the rest of the code back down here. Let's see here. With this setup here, you might be wondering why I decided to do it this way. Well, it's just the way that I decided to do it. I don't know if there's a better way to do it or if this is really dumb. Nobody's ever commented to say that I'm doing something wrong, so obviously I must be doing something right, right? But I think that by putting all this state change up at the top here, this improves the player's ability to react to situations in a game so they feel more in control of their player. Then we have if not on ground. So this is just at any time if for whatever reason we've detected that we're not on ground, aka we walked off a ledge, put us into the jump state, image index equals 0 and image speed equals 0, so that we're not animating because you don't animate in the jump state. And event user state colon. And edit my main code over there. I hate it when I forget those. And that should be good. Let's check it out. Let's see how well this worked. Alright, we're moving around and we press our jump key. There we go. And we can't jump down through a platform yet because we haven't added that code, but we can fall through there. Yay! And we're locking on this guy too because he is a solid, even though he's a spiny solid. When we add our hurt state, he will of course be hurt when you try to walk on those. So I think that's everything we need to know. If you enjoyed this setup, please leave a comment and let me know what you liked about it and what you think I could improve. I'd really love to hear your feedback. Anyway, so yeah, happy coding everybody, and good luck with your coding.